I'm 69 years old, and I woke up this morning with the same quiet thought I've had for years now. I waited too long. Not for one thing, for everything. I spent decades waiting for the right time, and now most of that time is gone. I don't say that dramatically. I say it plainly, the way it feels. Like noticing a room has emptied out while you were distracted. I'm not telling this because I want sympathy. I don't even know what I'd do with it. I'm telling it because the truth gets heavier the longer you hold it, and at my age, there isn't much space left to carry extra weight. Days feel different now. They're quieter, slower in some ways, sharper in others. You notice aches you used to ignore. You notice the calendar. You notice how often you say, I remember when, instead of I'm going to. And I still have my health, more or less. I still walk every morning. I still make myself breakfast. But there's a sense of finality that follows me around, like I've already crossed a line without realizing it. When I look back, I don't see a reckless life. I see a careful one, too careful. While in my 20s, I thought I was being responsible. I took the safe job. It wasn't exciting, but it paid the bills. I told myself I'd explore later when things were more stable. And later became a habit. I had ideas back then, not grand dreams, just quiet ones, things I wanted to try, places I wanted to see, conversations I wanted to have. I told myself I'd get to them once I was settled. I kept settling. In my 30s, life filled up, work, routines, obligations. I learned how to be dependable. People trusted me. That felt good. I liked being the one who showed up, who handled things, who didn't make waves. But there were moments I felt restless, usually late at night. I'd lie awake thinking about small changes I could make, taking a class, calling someone I'd lost touch with, saying no to something that drained me. I didn't do those things, not because I didn't care, but because I thought waiting was harmless. I met people along the way who lived differently, took risks, changed paths. I admired them quietly and then told myself they were braver than I was, or luckier. I said I just wasn't built that way. That explanation became a shelter. The cost didn't show up all at once. It never does. It came in pieces so small I barely noticed. A birthday missed because of work. A phone call I meant to return but didn't. A friendship that faded because neither of us reached out. I assumed relationships were sturdy, that they could handle pauses. I didn't understand that silence isn't neutral. It slowly replaces connection. In my 40s, I started saying, when things slow down. That phrase followed me everywhere. When things slow down, I'll take that trip. When things slow down, I'll spend more time with them. When things slow down, I'll figure out what I actually want. Things never slowed down. I just got older. I don't remember a single moment where I chose wrong on purpose. That's the hardest part. I was always choosing what seemed reasonable, practical, sensible. No one warns you that sensible choices can still empty you out. There was someone I loved once, not in a dramatic way, in a steady, everyday way. We talked about building a life together, but I kept hesitating. I needed things to line up, finances, timing, confidence. They waited longer than they should have. One day, they told me they were tired of waiting. They said it gently. They didn't blame me. That almost made it worse. I told myself it wasn't the right time anyway, that if it were meant to be, it would have worked out later, never came back around. Then as the years passed, I got used to postponing myself. I became good at it. I filled my days with tasks so I wouldn't have to sit with unanswered questions. Bussiness can look like purpose if you don't look too closely. The turning point wasn't a single dramatic event. It was a phone call about a funeral. Someone I had meant to visit. Someone I had planned to catch up with once things eased up. Bland standing there, listening to people share memories I wasn't part of. I realized how thin my presence had been in my own life. I went home afterward and sat in my car longer than I needed to. I didn't cry. I just felt something settle, heavy and undeniable. Time doesn't wait for readiness. That's when clarity arrived. Quietly. I saw how many doors I had left unopened, not because they were locked, but because I kept walking past them. Blean, there are things now that can't be fixed. Paths that don't exist anymore, people who won't be waiting if I finally decide I'm ready. I can't go back and be braver at 30. I can't tell certain people what they meant to me while it still mattered. I can't recover years spent convincing myself I was preparing to live. I was already living. I just wasn't paying attention. What hurts isn't failure. I can accept failure. What hurts is delay. The belief that life would pause politely until I felt comfortable stepping into it. It doesn't work that way. And if you're listening to this, I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't know your circumstances. I only know what I wish I had understood sooner. Waiting feels safe. It feels mature. It feels like you're avoiding mistakes. But sometimes waiting is the mistake. Presence matters more than readiness. Showing up matters more than having everything figured out. I used to think there would be a clear signal, a moment when I'd know it was time. There wasn't. There were only chances, quiet and unannounced. I missed many of them. Now at Loserjo, I move forward with fewer illusions. I do small things differently. I speak up sooner. I reach out more. Not because I can fix the past, but because I don't want to add more silence to it. My time is limited. That's not a tragedy. It's just the truth. Now, if this meant something to you, you can sit with it. That's enough. I waited most of my life for the right time. I understand now that the right time was always the time I was already in.